Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream where we will be tackling a very important topic: how to boost your team's efficiency without overworking them, ruining your relationship with them, getting them to quit. In the times we're in, it is essential to get the best out of your team without burning them out. So, if you're ready to have a thriving team that is also working highly efficiently, stay tuned. Hey everyone, I am Deanna Maio. I'm the owner and director of The Vivid Woman, and I want to just welcome you to today's live stream. Very excited about today. I have been in the coaching and management business for over 19 years, and I have a deep, deep passion for helping business owners and leaders like you to build high performing, profitable teams without the stress of micromanaging. So let's get started. We are here today to talk about a very important topic, and that is how to boost your team's efficiency without overworking them. We want to get the most from our team without being a dictator, without, forgetting that they're human beings. And we also don't want to burn them out. So today is for you if you can relate to any of these statements. If you're tired of putting out fires, wishing your team could just handle things more independently. If you've ever experienced a dip in your team's productivity and you're not exactly sure how to get them back on track. If you have the sneaking suspicion that your team isn't working all of the time that they say that they're working. If you find yourself doing work you've delegated because it's not been done correctly, it's not been done on time. If your team seems disengaged or unmotivated and you're struggling to find a way to get their spark back. And if you want to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, because let's face it, you're paying them money to do a job. We want to get the most for our money as possible while still remembering that they're human beings and not robots. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, if you will. I don't know if it's true that the economy is harder to deal with right now versus other times, but a lot of people are talking about how the economy is really tough right now. Um, I think regardless, we need to be finding ways to get the best out of our team while remembering that they're human beings and not robots, and that we can push them to do more, to be more effective, more efficient. But overworking your team can lead to burnout. It can lead to decreased productivity. It can lead to people quitting, right? High turnover. And if you're a business owner, it can sometimes feel like you're carrying the weight of the world, handling tasks your team should manage because you fear they'll make mistakes, because maybe they won't get it done the way you wanted them to get done, or maybe they won't get it done in the time frame that you need. Because there are the times when things come up urgently. I mean, maybe you've tried setting clearer goals and expectations, but they don't seem to get it. And then you're left feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. Maybe you find yourself worried about deadlines and you're involved too much in the day-to-day of their workload, which can feel like or could be called micromanaging, which only adds to your stress and adds to theirs. So if you have ever felt like you wanted to get your team back on track, but just weren't exactly sure how to do it, or you were able to get your team back on track, just give me a yes in the chat and let me know that you are in the right place today. So I'm going to take a sip of my water for a moment because I feel like I have a little something in my throat. All right, much better. So let's dive into some tips on how we can solve this problem, or rather, take advantage of this opportunity to get more from our team without overworking them. The first thing you want to do is you want to analyze the current performance that's happening. If we're not regularly looking at performance, we're not going to notice issues. We're not going to notice opportunities that we're missing, opportunities for improvement. So we need to be analyzing performance on a regular basis, really looking at what is your team accomplishing? How long is it taking them? Are they, do they have a lot of time to sit around and not work? Now, that might be okay if you have a part-time employee that you're only paying for the hours that they work, but maybe you'd like to you know, have them do more for you. It's a real problem if you pay someone a salary, right? This much per week or this much per month, which can be really common with virtual assistants and other contract type professionals. The solution here is to regularly review your team's work to look at where there are strengths and where there are areas for improvement. Consistent performance review, and I'm not talking about like a formal performance review process. That's a different conversation. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Different conversation for a different day. But looking at performance on a regular basis can really help to identify issues early and provide opportunities for continuous improvement. So, one of the things you can do is take a look at your team members' task list in your team management or task management system. We use Teamwork Projects here at the Vivid Woman, but maybe use Asana or Trello, right? And just look and see, what's happening. How long is it taking them? If you're not asking your team to track their time for individual tasks, that's another area of opportunity, because it's good to know, right? Maybe something is taking them an hour and it doesn't seem to make sense. Why is it taking that long? Maybe there's a training opportunity to streamline things and make things more efficient. Or if something's able to be done very quickly and they've got time available, maybe there's more they could be doing to help move the business towards its goals. Second tip is to identify gaps. When we have inefficiencies or obstacles in our workflow, our team's productivity can be hindered. And it's important for us to look at areas where efficiency could be improved, whether it's communication, resource allocation, workflow of a certain process. When we can identify and address these specific gaps, team efficiency increases. Everyone is happy because no one likes the idea that they're working inefficiently, right? Our time is our most precious commodity. Once it's gone, we can never get it back. Even if someone's being paid hourly, people still value their time. And they don't like the idea of doing work that's busy work or that is inefficient. So one simple thing you can do to start moving towards this, identifying of gaps or inefficiencies, is just to implement a system where team members feel like they can anonymously share their thoughts on what's hindering their productivity. You could set this up with a simple Google form that does not collect an email address or a name. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And the idea of it being anonymous is helpful because sometimes people might be a little concerned that if they bring something like this to your attention, that there's going to be, it's going to be to their detriment. Of course, I would argue that if you build a company culture where everyone understands and appreciates that feedback is a gift and you actually receive it as a gift, then it doesn't need to be anonymous. All right, let's talk about tip number 3. This is all about implementing the improvements. So if you've identified some gaps, if you're clear about some performance improvements that could happen, we've got to actually make sure that these things get changed. And when we don't address these gaps, these inefficiencies persist. Now we've got continued low productivity. And this problem can often be as a result of the original delegation process not being clear and specific, or maybe there's an error, or worse, no standard operating procedure documented. So the solution here is to introduce strategies to fill in the identified gaps, right? This could be a new piece of software, it could be adding in some training sessions, it could be changing the workflow. It doesn't have to be done all at once for it to be worthwhile. As a matter of fact, small gradual changes can significantly improve team efficiency and morale without overwhelming people with everything changing. So just start small, gradual changes to introduce a new process or change to your process to avoid overwhelming your team. And I like to, share that everything's an experiment. We're going to try it and see what happens, because that's the benefit of having a smaller business, is that we can make changes to something if it's not working, and we can make those changes and roll them out pretty quickly. Whereas if you're in a really large organization, sometimes those things take more time. All right, let's talk about tip number 4. Now that we've put some changes in place, we've got to monitor progress. Lack of monitoring after implementing a change is, honestly, I feel like it's worse than not making the change altogether. Because if you cared enough to make this change and then your team members see that you're not monitoring the progress, now there's a belief that it's not important, right? It's like, oh, we just made this big change, but why? If we don't even care about what the result is. So we want to monitor progress after implementing a change so that we can be clear about what the issues are that might pop up and make sure that actually is a desired improvement. Sometimes we make a change, it actually isn't the right thing. It doesn't actually net us any improvement. So why keep it? We've got to keep an eye on the changes we've implemented and see how they affect the performance of the team. So continuously monitoring and adjusting ensures sustained improvement and that we can be adaptable. So one way you can get started with this is just to schedule an every other week check-in. Perhaps it's an email, it could be a chat message, it could be face-to-face over Zoom or in person. What's working, what's not, so that we're thinking about continuous improvement. And then lastly, our 5th tip for today is about ensuring resilience. So teams that are not resilient struggle to adapt to changes and handle stress, which then leads to burnout and decreased productivity, which is what we're trying to avoid. So we want to build a resilient team that can adapt to changes and handle stress effectively. When we promote a healthy work-life balance, we take regular breaks, we make sure our team is doing the same thing. It keeps them energized and motivated, which is what we want. So I do encourage that you encourage regular breaks and promoting a healthy work-life balance to keep your team energized and motivated and resilient. Because if they're already burnt out and we're implementing a change, that can be really tough to see that it gets solidified and it sticks, because we're not at our best when we're burnt out. Now, if you implement these 5 steps, you are likely to see a real increase in productivity. Your team will work more efficiently, they will be completing tasks faster and with good quality. Your team feels valued and supported, so now they have higher satisfaction in their job and you have lower turnover. And of course, turnover is a whole nother issue, right? Because every time we have to replace someone, it takes a lot of time, energy, and money. You spend less time micromanaging and more time focusing on the strategic things that only you can do, right? Because there are just some tasks in the business that only you can do as the business leader. We want you focused on those things and not the day-to-day small things that someone else could handle. I believe a happy, well-supported team is likely to come up with new creative solutions and ideas. So now we have enhanced creativity and innovation, which is always a good thing. And our business can thrive even in tough economic times if you have a capable and resilient team. Now, part of this process is seeing that you get your time freed up. If your team is working more efficiently, they can take on more. You can take more of what's on your plate and pass it over to them, not just so that your time is freed up and you get rid of the work you don't like, but it can also be a development opportunity for them. Plus, then you can spend that time on things that only you can do in the business. But let's face it, delegating tasks can sometimes be a nightmare. Maybe you've tried, but instructions don't always seem clear. And now you have these endless re explanations and frustrations. And despite having a great team, sometimes execution falls short when we've delegated work. And it often has us wondering, is there a better way? Well, I believe that there is a better way. Uh, Imagine if you didn't have those clarification cycles anymore. No more confusion, no more frustration, no more wasted time, right? You picture your team, they receive the instructions, they instantly know what to do. You don't have this constant back and forth of questions and interruptions to get clarification on things. And now your team's productivity can really skyrocket. And this is exactly why I created AI Delegator Pro. It is the ultimate delegation sidekick. With AI Delegator Pro, you can turn vague tasks into clear, actionable instructions in seconds with AI. Your team can eagerly take on that task, then they understand the expectations and they can execute flawlessly. AI Delegator Pro allows you to put in a very simple task you want to delegate. You push a button, and the tool spits out everything that you need to share with your team members so that they can be successful completing this task. Not just the instructions to complete it, but what you expect, why you want them to do it, and how they will benefit and how the company will benefit. The mistakes that they're likely to avoid, the mistakes they're likely to make, and how to avoid them, and actually so much more. We've identified 18 elements to include to make your delegation instructions specific, clear, and thorough. And for a limited time, when you pick up your lifetime unlimited access to AI Delegator Pro, you're going to get my 7 tips to maximize your delegation success bonus training so that you can really get the most bang for your buck out of your team and out of their time without feeling like a dictator. Now, if you want to check this out, I've got a demo for you to see live right on the page. You can visit over at aidelegatorpro.com to get your copy for yourself. It is a limited time offer that we have available right now, and during our launch. But I'm telling you, the lifetime unlimited access to this tool, where you can spit out clear, thorough, specific delegation instructions in just seconds, it's a total game changer. And this is a way that you start to make your team more efficient without being a dictator, without overworking them, without burning them out, so that you can avoid burnout. You can avoid stress. So you can visit us over at aidelegatorpro.com, or you can click the QR code in the corner here to get taken right to that link and check out AI Delegator Pro. All right, well, we're going to start to wrap up for today. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you found these insights on boosting your team's efficiency without overworking them valuable. I want to invite you to stay tuned for my next live stream, where we will continue our journey towards creating a high-performing, profitable team and being a truly happy, confident, content, and authentic leader. I'll be sharing more tips, tricks, and strategies, inspiration too, to help you lead with confidence and achieve remarkable results, reclaiming at least 8 hours of your week so that you can either spend that time on strategic initiatives that will move your business forward, or maybe you use it as personal time so you can be present with the people and the passions that you love. I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Until then,